Fuck! Hello, everyone. I'm the world's biggest geek. I know I haven't been on this channel in a while, and yes, my friend John said he told me it's hilarious how the last couple of times I've been on this channel, it's me raging about something, and other than all those other times, they weren't that serious. It wasn't that big of a deal. But this right here is taking precedence, and I'm glad to be joined by another person here. What's up?
It's going good, man. Oh boy, here we go again. No. How does it go? Oh shit, here we go again.
You know what, Zach? I'm gonna have to remove you because I have to have a solo. I'll bring you back, okay? I have to say this, and I'm sorry. I have to say this, and then I'll bring everybody up. So for the people who are waiting, you guys get to have the front row seat to me going ballistic. So for those who do not know, for those who are watching who do not know, I love a lot of things. I love comic books. I love Marvel. I love DC. I love fantasy. I love Harry Potter. But one of the main things that I love is Star Wars. Star Wars holds a very, very special place in my heart. My dad and my little brother and I watched the original trilogy and the prequel trilogy, and I loved it. I fell in love with Star Wars. I ended up watching I watched Clone Wars. I ended up watching, even the Clone Wars movie. I watched the micro series. I loved everything Star Wars content. Hell, I didn't even know that people hated the prequels. I like the prequels. I love the prequels. Are the prequels perfect? No. Okay? It has scenes that don't work. The dialogue is not that good. George Lucas did not do an amazing job, but it still felt like Star Wars. Last year, I took an entire week to rewatch everything, the entire Skywalker saga. I watched the original trilogy, I watched the prequel series, I watched the sequel series, and I even watched the spin-offs. That is how much I love Star Wars, that I was able to sit down for an entire week, day by day, and I didn't watch one movie per day. I watched each trilogy, it took one day. I watched the original trilogy in one day. I watched the prequel series in one day. I watched the sequel series in one day, and then I watched the spin-offs in one day. Woolly Dog has something to say. The prequels got too much hate back then from what I could. Yes, they did. The prequels are not perfect, but they got way too much hate. And you know what? For all the prequel people that hate on the prequels, I blame you. Because if this never happened, George Lucas wouldn't have sold it to Disney. This is your fault. Because you want to know why? You want to know why? Because we're getting another fucking trilogy. We're continuing the Star Wars trilogy. Why? I don't know. I don't know why. We didn't learn from last time. We didn't learn from somehow Palpatine returned. We didn't learn from the Rise of Skywalker. We didn't learn from the fact how the sequel series did not have a plan. They had no plan. They had no plan. They were making shit up as they fucking go. We didn't know who Rey's lineage was until the final movie of the fucking Skywalker saga. And then all of a sudden, she's a Palpatine. Hate Last Jedi all you want, okay? I love The Last Jedi. Hate The Last Jedi all you want. At least The Last Jedi tried to tell us a story about how anybody can be a hero and you don't have to be freaking related to anyone in the goddamn universe that's a Palpatine or a Skywalker. Oh my God. And what's even worse, and you want to know what's worse? The person who's directing these movies directed two of the worst comic book movies of all time, Fanbase and Dark Phoenix. Simon Kinberg is writing the... Oh my God. I am in pain. Star Wars has not been the greatest thing in the last couple of years. It's safe to say that the sequel trilogy really left a lot of bad taste in people's mouths, myself included. I liked The Force Awakens. I loved The Last Jedi. But The Rise of Skywalker is what really killed Star Wars for me, because ever since then, we've gotten The Mandalorian. We've gotten The Acolyte. I didn't even care to watch The Acolyte. I mean, I'm done with Star Wars. I really haven't had fun watching anything Star Wars related, probably since season 1 of The Mandalorian. I want to watch Andor. I really do. I've been hearing it's really good, but I just, Star Wars to me it's dead. It's dead. I feel like the people who are making these movies and shows, they don't care about the fans. Why are we making another trilogy? You know what? Even if the trilogy ends up being a different, a different story with different characters, why is it going to be set? You know what? I don't know. I don't know. I need to bring people up here because I don't want to keep. I don't want to be going on a tangent. So yeah, Zach. Hey man, how's everybody doing? How's everyone?
I think some things are clarified. You accidentally said direct for Simon Kinberg. Simon Kinberg didn't direct Fantastic Four. He wrote them, but
sorry.
And to be fair, the writing of that movie was the least of its issues. It was more the producer side than anything, and Josh Trank being a fucking idiot. Jeremy Slater had a really good script, and then like they rewrote stuff. It was more like a hire job than anything. I'm not trying to totally defend Simon Kinberg, but he also did write X-Men Days of Future Past, which is one of the greatest comic book movies ever made. So I can't hate on the guy too much. But at the same time, I don't think that this shit is not fucking happening. Like, you can bitch, whine, and complain all you want. This shit's not happening. They've been promising a Star Wars movie by like 10 different people since 2019, and all of them have been canceled or in development hell, and they'll never see the light of day. Like, Patty Jenkins had one. Fucking Kevin Feige apparently had a Star Wars movie. Fucking John Favreau and all this other shit. Like, the only one that's happening is the fucking Mandalorian movie, and that's connected to a show. So I don't even think that's gonna. Is that being released in theaters? I don't even know. But it's this. You can. I mean, yeah, you can complain. Like, freedom of speech, my guy. That's the beauty of this. But like, no way is this shit. No way is 10, 11, and 12 fucking happening. They've been promising like trilogies and movies since like for the past 5 years, and none of it's happened. So it's like they're gonna bring Star Wars back to theaters. No, they're not. They're just throwing everything at the wall. This is probably just rage bait to get people talking about Star Wars again after, the Acolyte fucking destroyed a whole bunch of shit. So this is probably just rage bait to like, oh, hey, look, all publicity is good publicity. So that's my thought. I am 100% sure that this shit is not happening. And if it is, I'll eat crow. That's fine. But like, I'm 100% sure this shit's not happening.
Even in before I say anything, right, dude? Yes. Well, Rogue One and Solo. I know people don't like Solo. I do, but
I
definitively
enjoy Solo.
speaking, Rogue One
Yeah.
is probably the best thing we have ever gotten since Disney bought Star Wars. I'm not even joking.
Yeah.
Rogue One is like,
Yeah, I love Rogue
genuinely
One.
speaking, one of the best movies in the freaking series. It's so good.
And I'll say this, because you could say Solo may not be necessary, but it's fun. It's harmless. You know, even though I've never hated it, it's just grown on me more every time I've watched it. You know, it's better than something that destroys canon, like apparently the Acolyte does. So I'll take that over Acolyte any day.
Yeah.
Again, I have not watched The Acolyte. And by the way, because listen, I'm not trying to, in no way am I condoning hate. In no way am I condoning any, like, any bad speech or anything. I know the actors and actresses in The Acolyte, they received a lot of hate for the show. I didn't watch it. But people who genuinely are like spreading hate, it's ridiculous. It's not that serious. Yes, Star Wars sucks. But if we're going to take it to the point where we are criticizing the actors and the actresses for doing their job, then you are not a Star Wars fan. You can leave the fan base honestly. We Star Wars fans do not claim you. You are the reason why we get a bad reputation.
Nothing from
Jake Lloyd. Did we learn nothing from Hayden
when
Christensen?
Or when the Jar Jar actor was
Exactly.
nearly pushed to the point of suicide.
Exactly. Like you guys, not you, obviously not you two. I'm just saying.
Oh yeah, no.
The Star Wars fans who are sexist, racist, homophobic, you guys give us a bad reputation. You make us look bad because you guys can't stop for 1 second and think to yourselves, maybe I shouldn't be saying this and maybe I shouldn't be saying that. The reason why Star Wars sucks isn't because of the fact that we have Rey Skywalker, and I'm not calling her Rey Skywalker, Rey Palpatine as the headline. It's not because. It's just the fact that her character doesn't work and you didn't do anything to make us care. That's the reason why Star Wars or the sequel trilogy did not do well. It's not because of Rey being a woman or anything. I just need to get that out the way because I don't want people to misconstrue what I'm trying to say or anything. And
Daisy Ridley's a good actress. Like they're all good actors. Like Oscar, I would say Oscar Isaac. Like Daisy Ridley is fine. Like, but I'm more angry about like John Boyega's treatment and Oscar Isaac's treatment because Oscar Isaac, I would say, no offense to Ridley or Boyega, he was the best actor of the three, most definitely. He still is. But the thing with Oscar Isaac, he had a lot of stuff to fall back on. He was I don't know if he was like a relative star there, but he's had a lot of hits before then and during and after. He had he had like Most Violent Year, he had Ex Machina, he had and he was in Moon Knight. Like that was like, it's Marvel, but it's something. And a lot of people seem to like that.
I never heard of Oscar Isaac before Star Wars. After that, that's when I started seeing him more. Same thing with John Boyega.
It was but at least what I'm saying is like he at least got a career. Daisy Ridley's like the most she's done is like Chaos Walking.
Oh god,
which sucked apparently. And then she's gonna be in a new Martin Campbell movie called Cleaner, which looks pretty decent, but like I don't know how good that will be. And then John Boyega, just what the fuck has he been in? Like that's a genuine question. Like John Boyega, outside of like Detroit, maybe.
Yeah, ever since Star Wars, he was in Detroit. Pacific Rim Uprising, which sucked also. He was in The Woman King. And it's unfortunate because these actors, ever since Star Wars happened, they haven't had a career since then. The only two people that I can think of that still have a career is Oscar Isaac and Adam Driver.
Yeah,
and those are two amazing actors. I mean, Adam Driver is an Oscar nominee actor. Kelly Marie Tran, outside of Star Wars, the only thing that she's done is Raya the Last Dragon, and that movie wasn't really well perceived either. And I feel bad for Kelly Marie Tran. She was thrown right under the bus.
Yeah.
So again, I had to reiterate. I had to make this statement clear because me as someone who is a minority, a black man, I do not condone any sense of hate. And if any Star Wars fan or anybody wants to do that, y'all can just leave. We don't want you.
Yeah.
We don't agree with your viewpoint at all. So y'all can, bigots and racists and all that stuff, y'all can leave.
Yeah, I gotta say something about Daisy Ridley real quick, because we all know that Kathleen Kennedy was very agenda-driven with this trilogy. And I feel like a lot of that got unfairly pinned onto Daisy Ridley as well. And I want to know what you guys think, but the vibe that I've always got from Daisy Ridley, that it was never about agenda for her. I felt like she always actually genuinely was optimistic about being in Star Wars. It was never about agenda for her. She was genuinely, like I never got any vibes where like, women powers. Like, no, she was excited to be in Star Wars. She was excited to meet these legacy actors, play a character that interacts with these legacy characters. And if anything, it's like what you said, it's not the character that failed the trilogy, it's the writing that failed the character.
With me, because this is the thing with me. Like, whenever
any bullshit that was pinned on the
like Daisy Ridley, like, you can tell when The Force Awakens came out and you saw the behind the scenes and interviews, you can tell that they enjoyed being in Star, and they were having fun. Like, Boyega loved Star Wars. Daisy really loved being in Star. She felt like, oh my God, I get to be a part of such a legacy of history with Star Wars. And then by the end of it, they looked done. They looked done with the fucking series. Daisy Ridley, and me personally, I have a love-hate relationship with Rey. I love Rey. I think Rey as a character could have worked if they had written her well. I think she was amazing in The Force Awakens. The Last Jedi, again, I'm an avid defender of The Last Jedi. I actually liked her in The Last Jedi because they actually had her train. But in The Rise of Skywalker, it just felt like they didn't know what to do with the character.
Because what they tried to do with that was they tried to backtrack on everything that people hated in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
And then, fucking and then do another movie. Because they're like, okay, J.J. Abrams, you did Force Awakens. People liked that. So,
it's not just Kathleen.
Like, fucking Disney isn't just a couple clowns. It's the whole damn circus. Like, that's what it is. And I still stand by that. Like, it would have been in terms of like comparisons to like OG characters. I still think Rey should have been the Han Solo. John Boyega, Finn should have been the Luke, and then Oscar Isaac should have been the Leia. Where Oscar Isaac was the, was not royalty, but like, at least what she became. Like, he was more of like the rebellion focused character. Rey should have been like the pilot, not giving a fuck about anything kind of thing, but still having like the heart of gold. John Boyega as Finn should have been the Luke. He should, like, can you fucking imagine how fucking awesome that a 3-movie arc about a stormtrooper who is also black becoming a fucking Jedi? That is so fucking ripe for potential, and so ripe for like amazing stories, and we couldn't get that at all. Like the best moment, and I think you agreed with me on this, the best moment from like Force Awakens was when Finn was holding Luke's saber and about to seemingly about to fight Kylo Ren. That would have been so fucking cool, and they completely screwed it over because China hates black people.
Like,
thanks, Disney.
I want to speak from, because back in 2015, I was like, what, 12 years old, going into my teen years. I was just, entering being a teenager. I don't think people, when I first saw the Force Awakens teaser trailer, that was also the same trailer where we see Finn in a stormtrooper costume. I'm like, stormtroopers are black? I didn't know that. That seems kind of cool. And then when I saw the next trailer and I see the same dude that was a stormtrooper holding a lightsaber, I'm like, hold on a second. That was awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And throughout the entire movie, I'm like, yes, we get to see him hold Luke's lightsaber. He finally gets to hold a legendary weapon that's been passed down from Jedi to Jedi.
The Youngling Slayer 9000.
And then he gets knocked out. And again, I don't have a problem with Rey being the Jedi. But at the same time, I don't.
But like,
I wanted Finn to also have that privilege. Finn deserved to be he was practically the main character of The Force Awakens. Outside of Rey, he was the other main character. And then out of nowhere, they just sidelined him
with Finn, basically. So yeah, you could say Finn was the film opens.
Technically, it opens with Poe because he was.
Yes, but we follow Finn. Like Finn, Poe is like he's like the secondary character. Obviously, we know he's not the main guy, but we follow Finn literally like that, and it's confirmed that is when Finn becomes Force sensitive, when he ends up having a whole panic attack and realizing what the hell's going on. Like, what am I doing? They just had oh my god.
And the thing is, like, even if he doesn't become a Jedi, right? Like, just the general idea of a stormtrooper turning good, and he can still have that be his whole arc, is maybe rousing the whole army to turn against the First Order or whatnot. That's still
not the whole army, but at least like some defectors and all that. And then Phasma being fucking absolutely wasted for no reason. And then
it just
say what you will about Colin Trevorrow as a filmmaker. His script was, if it's real, was so much better.
And I changed the title because it has to be said. Like, we as people, we ruin Star Wars. The Star Wars fan base ruined Star Wars. Disney has a part to play too. I'm not exempting them. They for sure deserve a lot of blame. But the Star Wars fan, we did this.
Yeah, because here's the thing, right? Like, I was gonna say, tell me, Jay and John, if you disagree with Force Awakens. It's not that there wasn't any negativity there, but the fact that people say that the toxicity was there from the very beginning, no. Like, people liked Force Awakens, people didn't like Force Awakens, but that didn't start until Last Jedi.
No, I've never heard of that before.
I've never heard of that documentary, but I'm not surprised. Wait a minute. Is this the same documentary? Who are those freaking idiots who they're the reason why the prequel hate is so strong? Plinkett, are they the ones that are in this documentary?
Oh, Plinkett, dude. I don't know why, but I used to love those reviews. I used to love those reviews back in the day just because I thought they were funny, but dude, they have not aged well.
They're not funny. Their entire career is based off of hating on 3 movies.
No, it's not from Red Letter Media. It's from somebody else.
Okay. Like, and the reason I'm saying
oh, sorry. I was just to talk about the new trilogy real quick. If it's happening, I'll say if it happens, if it is 10, 11, and 12, well, so fucking much for the end of the Skywalker saga, right? Like, you remember when all over the marketing of Rise of Skywalker, the saga will end, the story lives forever. I guess that was a bunch of bullshit. Like, because seriously,
Disney can't seem to let their IPs go. And that's another thing. Like, Disney can't seem to let things die.
Trilogy. It's not that I don't want a new trilogy or new movies, but it's just Disney. Do something else outside of the damn Skywalker saga.
Honestly,
Move the fuck on outside of the same old tired shit. Sir.
Honestly, I would prefer if Disney. I would prefer if Star Wars went on a 10-year hiatus. I'm not.
They would never do that ever.
I would prefer if they went on a 10-year hiatus to actually figure out and get their shit together. And we know it's.
I think Star Wars needs to go out back and be shot in the head with a rifle, and because of its broken leg.
Yeah.
The last time I saw, you know what? I'm gonna ask a question, and anybody in the chat can answer this. When was the last time we saw someone who loved Star Wars and made something within Star Wars, and they genuinely made it because they loved it, not to make money, not to fulfill a quota set by the studio. When was the last time we saw someone make something that's Star Wars related and made it because they loved it?
Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen seem to genuinely be optimistic about returning in Kenobi.
Kenobi sucked. Okay? Kenobi sucked. Okay? Initially, yeah, I was hyped for it. I was hyped for Kenobi.
The original ideas were so much better, but then Solo failed. And then Solo failed, and they're like, well, clearly nobody wants spin-offs. It's like, no, you literally took the wrong lesson. We've been begging for more Ewan McGregor as Kenobi, and they're like, nope. They had a whole trilogy plan. The guy behind he had a lot of really interesting ideas. A lot of those ideas did make it into Kenobi, but like not nearly as good, and it was very hackneyed and not.
Well, I mean, yeah, you could say the show sucked, but what I mean is Ewan McGregor and Hayden Christensen genuinely had optimism for reuniting on that show, and
I'm sure they did, but that doesn't mean that just because two characters are coming back and they're reuniting, that doesn't automatically make
no.
it
Well, he's saying like he's answering your question in terms of who made something because they were passionate. I mean, I know they're not a director or a writer, but Christensen and McGregor came back because they were passionate about Star Wars, not because of like some money thing or anything like that. Yeah. So, you know.
Yeah, I mean,
but I got to head out. I just wanted to bring in my 2 cents a little bit. And how this, I mean, you can be mad all you want. That's fair. Cause I love being mad at Disney cause fuck Disney, but I think you could sleep well at night knowing that this trilogy will never fucking happen because they've been promising shit since 2019 and it's just not happening. So
before you go, John, I find it so funny that as we are speaking right now, we are getting so much updates on Disney like projects. Like apparently the script for Incredibles 3 is being made. We just saw a picture of Lilo and Stitch. We got a new poster from Mufasa, the Lion King. Like anyone gives a shit about that movie. We're watching Sonic 3, bitch.
Yeah, Sonic 3.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Sonic 3, and I'll have a classic J sign off. Fuck She-Hulk. Fuck Toy Story 4. Fuck Rise of Skywalker. Fuck Disney. Peace out.
So so let's get to the root of like why I retitled this. The Star Wars fan base ruined Star Wars. Why do I say that? It's because of this. Ever since the prequel series came out, I'm not saying we, because I love these movies, but the people that hated the prequels, they bullied the living hell out of Jake Lloyd. They bullied the living hell out of yes, him as well. They bullied Hayden Christensen. They bullied Natalie Portman. They bullied everything the prequel series stood for. They bullied
Natalie
George Lucas
Portman
into him.
I didn't even know that.
Yes. No, yes, they did because of Attack of the Clones.
Dude,
they bullied everything about the prequels and basically said George Lucas, I'm not going to say the word because obviously monetize or YouTube, that George Lucas bleeped our childhood. No, he didn't. You just didn't like something that he made, and that's perfectly fine. But to say that George Lucas basically killed your childhood is hilarious. It's not hilarious. It's disappointing.
Because it's like you could say there are definitely flaws in the prequels. Like my biggest, like 2 big missed opportunities for me in the prequels are this. I like Qui-Gon in The Phantom Menace a lot.
Yes.
But I would have switched it to where Obi-Wan is out there scouting and Tatooine so he can have the bond with Anakin to build up the friendship they talked about. And 2, shit, what was the other one? Shit, I think that was the only one, but that's pretty much it. Like you could say there are flaws in these movies or not, but when you go to freaking attacking these people, like they just signed on to do a job, make like either for a paycheck or it's because they actually cared about it. It's not their fucking fault.
It's not. And then that transfers over to the mid 2000s, which is something I like to call the anti-prequel era, because that's when we got the Clone Wars, because they didn't like the prequels and they tried to fix everything they could about the prequels. That is when George Lucas sold the rights to Disney. He sold Lucasfilm to Disney, and then that's when we were getting, all this news about, we're getting a new trilogy, this, that, and the other. And then that's when The Force Awakens came out. J.J. Abrams publicly hates the prequels. Which, by the way, J.J. Abrams, how is your career doing after The Rise of Skywalker? Oh, yeah, you haven't directed a good movie since fucking Star Trek 2009. Oh, I'm sorry. Super 8. Super 8.
Yeah.
I'll give him Super 8.
Like, dude.
But that's when, because then it all, because the Disney, they realized that people did not like the prequels so much. Then that's when they tried to undo everything and basically make it the original trilogy, this, that, and the other. And then after the first movie, that's when we started getting hate to Daisy Ridley. That's when people were giving hate to John Boyega. And then The Last Jedi came out. That's when people were giving hate to Kelly Marie Tran and all this other stuff. And then that's basically that was the Star Wars hate at its all-time high. And then that's when everyone got this reputation of, the Star Wars fan base is toxic. You know what? Yes. Right dude said it best. I understand not liking a character, but bullying an actor for doing their job, it's ridiculous. Daisy Ridley had a hole in her stomach from how much stress she got for playing Rey. That's bad.
And again, like I said earlier, if anything, I think she, not just the character, but the actress in general was genuinely one of the brightest parts of the trilogy. Because, like I said earlier, I never got any agenda vibes from her. She was someone who genuinely cared about being in Star Wars.
It wasn't Rey. It was General Holdo, which I never understood why people hate Holdo. I don't get it. See,
I mean,
you really think
Laura Dern cast in the role? Laura Dern is awesome.
You really think that General Holdo was going to tell Poe her plan? The same guy in the same movie, not even 30 minutes ago, got his entire platoon killed.
Yeah,
you think he's worthy of knowing the information? And then at the same time, she sacrificed herself to save everybody. But then people want to complain.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't use hyperspace to kamikaze. It's Star Wars. It is a movie. It is a series about people in space learning magic, and hyper speeding through a fucking ship is where you draw the line.
Yeah.
The same people, by the way, that hate all. Just the same people, by the way, who will hate Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but they'll praise the Temple of Doom or Raiders of the Lost Ark or The Last Crusade or even a Dial of Destiny, and it has other stuff that's ridiculous.
Exactly. Hell, you know what? Not to turn it to Indiana Jones talk, but here's the big flaw in Raiders. How did he survive the whole time on top of the submarine when we assume it probably went underwater to get to the other place?
Because he's the main character, that's why.
But they won't say anything bad about it because it's Raiders. Don't get me wrong, Raiders is awesome, but
exactly. We've never seen Daisy Ridley in any controversy. I mean, yes, John Boyega's been in controversy, but it's not for the wrong reasons. It's for the good reasons. We've never seen we've never seen any of these actors in bad publicity. Y'all are bullying these people. It's because of that Disney will keep doing the very thing. They will keep making stuff to make. Disney will continue to be making the stuff that we hate because we're giving them money. The reason why The Acolyte sucked is not because it's a female-led driven project. It's just because the writing doesn't make any sense. It's because the characters are not likable. It's because the actual good person in the show tried to gaslight us into thinking that he was a bad person when in actuality he actually was doing good. And then it's also canon breaking because you have
and he dies for it.
You have the Jedi Master Al-Mundi who's on the council, but in the Phantom Menace is like, oh, the Sith, they've been extinct for almost a millennium. No, they're not. He was right. You were right. You were there when it happened. You were there when it happened. And then they have Yoda. They have Darth Plagueis for some reason. Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah,
Because people like Darth Plagueis, key jangling, like us. But
I'm trying to stay. I'm
shit,
trying
what
to
was I
stay.
about to say earlier?
I'm trying to
I'm
stay.
actually gonna join you in defending Last Jedi. Like, I don't love Last Jedi, but I do really like it. Like, I like that it was bold. They had the goal to try to say, okay, let's try to move on past the stuff people already know and open them to something new.
Zach, you and I don't agree on a lot of things.
Yeah.
But thank you for saying that. Because
Yeah, like,
people can hate the fact that Luke Skywalker tried to murder Ben Solo. I actually think that was a. I'm going to say that adds to my point. I'm about to say.
mm-hmm.
There's one thing that you can hate Ryan Johnson all you want. You can say that Ryan Johnson ruined your childhood. You can say that Ryan Johnson doesn't understand Star Wars. You can say this, that, and the other. If there's one thing that Ryan Johnson did that I will always give him respect for and you can't take away, the man had balls. He had balls to actually do something new with Star Wars that we haven't seen before. He actually had the balls to not be predictable. Because, yes, if you've seen The Last Jedi, you can basically chalk it up as like, oh, it's The Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi remix. But it's not. It makes you think it is, but it's not. Rey being a nobody was something I wasn't expecting. Yes, making Luke Skywalker an old hermit who's basically given up was something I wasn't expecting. Him throwing the lightsaber is hilarious in hindsight because I love the fact that very scene makes a lot of people mad. But I liked what they did with Luke Skywalker. It does a complete 180. Because obviously we thought going into this movie, we all thought, okay, Luke's going to be the Yoda, Rey's going to be the Luke, Luke's going to train Rey, this, that, and the other. But that's not what happens. If you really wanted to just watch if you really wanted to see Rey or another character being trained by an old wise hermit, then just watch fucking Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah, like
it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah, watch it.
You can watch it. But yes, The Last Jedi does things that I respect. It tries to be new. It tries to do things that other Star Wars directors and writers have never done before. And when someone tried to do something new, they got hated for it. He got hate for it. But then the same people who hate someone for trying something new will again bash everybody for being like, oh, it's the same thing as the original trilogy. Why can't you do something new? Well, y'all had the opportunity and you rejected it.
All right, here's the thing, right? I'm gonna compare this to another franchise I love. Like, Halloween Kills was part of that new trilogy that for Halloween they're doing, right?
Here we go.
Halloween Kills got criticism for that same shit. Like, it rehashed shit from other movies. Give us something new. Halloween Ends with something new, and you bitched. Pick one. So, what is it with this conception that if you're doing something new, because here's how I interpret it, right? Like, a lot of fans interpret, at least in my opinion, that if you're doing something new, that means you don't understand the source material.
That's not true. That's not true at all. Because if we're going to go off of that logic, then why is Into the Spider-Verse such a beloved movie?
Exactly.
Because I didn't forget, y'all hated Miles Morales in the comics. People did not like Miles Morales in the comics. But y'all love Into the Spider-Verse. And that does a complete 180 on his character. Thanos in the comics is not like how he is. I mean, Thanos in the movies is not like how he is in the comics. But people love Thanos. John doesn't. But that's
it's like they cherry pick, right?
Y'all, like they're moving the goalpost. They're moving the goalpost for things that they like. That's what people do. That's what we do. We move the goalpost. But yes, so the new trilogy that's being made, or allegedly being made, that's in the works right now or in development. If it does get made, I don't know if I can watch it again. I don't know if I can watch it. I can't bring myself to watch something that I know doesn't care about its fans. And this is where we're going to talk about Disney. Because Disney does not care about the fans anymore. If they did, we wouldn't be getting sequel remakes, or we wouldn't be getting live action remakes like we're getting now. We wouldn't be getting sequels. We wouldn't be getting, revived IPs that should have stayed dead. We wouldn't. And the same thing is going on with Star Wars. They are turning Star Wars to the MCU. I remember.
And that doesn't work for Star Wars because
I remember back in the pandemic when D23 was coming out and we were getting so many projects, Knights of the Old Republic or something with Gina Carano's character from The Mandalorian, because I know she was going to be the main character. We were getting Rogue Squadron for the Patty Jenkins project. We were getting The Acolyte. That was also announced. And ever since then, we've only gotten 2 of those projects that have been made, The Acolyte and The Book of Boba Fett.
Yeah.
And everything, even Mandalorian is a victim of this. It all is not good. Everything after season 2 of The Mandalorian is not good.
Because season 3 sucked.
It
I will say
absolutely
this,
sucked.
I'll say this, though. I love the redemption they give Ahmed Best. Do you know the scene I'm talking about?
Honestly, I'm just glad. I'm if I was him, I wouldn't even have returned to Star Wars. That good on him for doing that. Good on him.
Yeah,
because
I could see why he, if he didn't return, I'd get why. But just the fact that he did and they gave him that scene, after all the bullshit he went through, I thought that was so good to see,
That was not a good. Season 3 was not good. It wasn't good.
Oh no, quite literally, the Ahmed Best scene was the only thing that I liked, honestly.
Kenobi wasn't good. I'm sorry, Kenobi was not good. And again, it's not,
right.
The reason I don't like Kenobi. By the way, again, I forgot about Moses Ingram. People gave hate to Moses Ingram. You can hate the character, but don't bring hate to the actress. Yes, I didn't like Reva's character. I think she was poorly written and wasn't developed, and her redemption was so out of nowhere. But that doesn't mean that you have to spread hate to Moses Ingram, who's doing her job.
Yeah, even Ewan McGregor was coming out and bashing these people.
And I know damn well Disney wouldn't have done that. I'm glad that Ewan McGregor did it, because Disney doesn't care. They don't care. They don't care about. They will bring in, and I feel bad. I feel bad for John Boyega. I feel bad for Moses Ingram. I feel bad for Kelly Marie Tran. I feel bad for all these, Black, Asian, all these minority actors who will be brought in by Disney. And then when shit hits the fan, Disney won't do anything about it. They will not do anything about it. They'll leave them high and dry, because that's what they do. They will use these people for brownie points, and they will use these people to sell and make money. But then when people give criticism to them, they do nothing. Disney was not there for John Boyega when he was basically being erased from the posters and getting hate. They were not there they actually did support Moses Ingram, but they only did, and I guarantee you, if Ewan McGregor didn't do anything about it, they wouldn't have said anything. They weren't there for Kelly Marie Tran.
Because Ewan McGregor is actually a decent fucking person, unlike most of these.
He's a great guy.
Yeah.
They weren't there for. I'm sorry, I forgot. Let me go to Acolyte. Let me go to Acolyte and look up her name, because I don't know her name. The one who played the witch. Because she actually said something about it. She did not like the fact that Jodie Turner-Smith was talking about how she didn't like that Disney was not there for her she was receiving criticism, and she's right.
I heard that her character was one of the worst things in Star Wars, or one of the worst things about the show. But Disney, come on.
Disney just doesn't care. They will continue to make things knowing that it's not going to it's not going to be received well, but they'll do it anyway because they just want money.
And you know why people do this shit, right? Because when you hear that someone Black, someone Asian, or whatever, the first thing they think about when someone Black or Asian, whatever, is cast is because agenda.
Yep.
Even if that's your reason, dude. Just give the fucking thing a chance and just.
Yep, that's the typical response. I mean, anything that involves a woman or anything that involves anyone that's not white, it's now woke, which y'all don't even know what that word means, but you just say they masked their hate for anything that's not them, and they project it as woke.
Like
now, granted, there are certain things that I have an issue with when it comes to race swapping, and because I know it's not genuine. Especially, you know what? Usually when Disney does it, I know it's not genuine. When other people do it, I know they genuinely are just casting them because they think they're good actors. They think, so, you know, when Jeffrey Wright, Jeffrey Wright, yeah, Jeffrey Wright, when he got casted as Jim Gordon, I was a little skeptical because obviously I'm used to, you know, having a white Jim Gordon, and I was not expecting for them to do a race swap. But then when I watched it, I thought Jeffrey Wright was amazing. If it wasn't for Gary Oldman, he would be my definitive Jim Gordon.
Yeah, like those are like my two favorite Gordons in Batman.
Or Samuel L. Jackson. I didn't know that Nick Fury was white.
I didn't either.
Nick Fury was white. Nick Fury being casted as when Samuel L. Jackson got casted as Nick Fury, no one complained then. No one complained. Like, but nowadays, if a race swap happens, people are complaining. And again, I'm not saying sometimes it can be, it is warranted, but even if you have a problem with it, do it in a give a good reason. Don't just say it because it's
like just like attack the choice, not the actor, if that makes sense.
Why are we getting political right now? I was not expecting this, but I guess when it comes to Star Wars, we have to. At this point, when it comes to Star Wars, we have to talk about it because that's basically what it's become. And I hate that. I hate that that's what Star Wars has become. Because whatever happened to the fact that Star Wars is for everyone? What happened to that?
Exactly.
Star Wars is for everyone. I was talking to someone. I was talking to a friend of mine, right? Because she was telling me she's never seen Star Wars. And she's like, oh, I never watched Star Wars because I'm a girl and I don't think Star Wars is for me. And I'm like, what does that have to do with anything? Star Wars is for everyone. It's for you. It's for me. It's for everybody. But yeah,
exactly. Like
nowadays, it feels like it's not.
It's even down to the point they're making that kiddie Jedi Padawan show on Disney to appeal to the youngest generation.
Anything that's made for Disney Channel, Disney Junior, we don't talk about that. Clearly, it's just for little kids. Okay, that is not important right now. But yeah,
it is funny though. A show about little kid Padawans. We know how it's gonna end. You know where I'm going.
Well, yeah, I don't know even though at least try to make it canon. Yeah, right, dude. Star Wars is not fun anymore. It's just not fun to talk about.
Like the first side you saw of it was, I don't know if you watched Chris Stuckman, but
at the
end of his review for Rise of Skywalker, he was like, yeah, when he was saying that, Star Wars isn't fun for him anymore and all that. Like you saw that the seeds were being planted then.
Like every time I think about Star Wars, I physically get tired. I physically get tired. Because it's mentally exhausting. It's exhausting. Star Wars used to be something that I held so special in my heart. It's what my dad. And you know what? I have Empire Strikes Back on my wall. My dad and I bonded because of Star Wars. And every time he asks me, are you going to be watching The Acolyte? Are you going to be watching Ahsoka or this and the other? I tell him, no, I'm sorry. I can't watch it. I'm not watching. I don't want to watch something that I know I'm going to hate because I don't want to talk about it all the time.
My brother Chris was like that. Like he was the Star Wars person in my life. Like him and all my other brothers are how I got into Star Wars. But like Chris especially was the guy I talked to Star Wars with. We went and saw all of the new movies in theaters together, the new trilogy. And that's the thing. Like even though I don't like Rise of Skywalker anymore because I liked it in theaters, but for all the problems I'll always cherish the memory of the fact that I got to see Star Wars on the big screen with my brother. And after that, he'd given up on Star Wars. But when they announced Kenobi, it's like he had some hope again. And he and like he was excited for it. And that's actually why Kenobi was kind of special to me, because my brother died like the day after Christmas in 2022. So Kenobi holds a special place in my heart now, because that was like the last Star Wars thing that came out while he was alive. Like, and you can say there's a lot of issues about that, but Kenobi is always going to be special to me. Star Wars is always going to be special to me, because that's the interesting place I'm in. Like I totally get why everyone is like pretty much done with Star Wars, but I can still watch Star Wars. Like I'll watch the stuff that I love, and I'll cherry pick new things that are announced, like if the premise catches me. But
I will, yeah, where do, yeah. I mean, I remember when, and for the people out there who love collecting DVDs, if you know, the DVDs, and I'm talking about in the 2000s, and you know which cover, and you know the DVD covers I'm talking about, the ones where it had the float, a bunch, like, I'll look it up, because I need people to understand what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. These DVDs. If you collected these DVDs, you are a true Star Wars fan, because I have these at my house. Those covers
Yes.
right there.
Yes.
If you know. That's all I have to say. I had all of those.
Like, dude, where Star Wars is concerned, like on the Star Wars side of my childhood, those DVDs were my childhood. And I'm pissed that the DVDs for the new trilogies didn't have the same visual style for the opening menus, because
are you really surprised? Disney doesn't care. They don't care.
Exactly. Like that's the point I was getting to, is because they don't care. They'll just, let's put it on DVD. They'll buy it for $20, whatever. Fuck it.
I'm surprised DVDs are even still making sales, because digital and streaming and everything. But
yeah.
We're kind of talking in a circle, but it's like, I could talk about Kathleen Kennedy. I could talk about Dave Filoni. I'm not gonna do it. Kathleen Kennedy, she's not good for Star Wars.
She never was.
She's been running Lucasfilm to the ground. I'm not the type of person to be like, listen, but I'm sorry. I feel like she needs to step down. She has to realize that she's not good for Star Wars, and we have to have someone who genuinely loves Star Wars. Again, please do not misconstrue my words. Do not construe my words. I am not saying that a man needs to come up and take her place. Anybody at this point, I'll take anybody who just loves Star Wars. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy really loves Star Wars. I think she just likes being in charge.
Star Wars, it's only a mouthpiece for her agenda and her politics. That's all she uses it for the most part.
I'm sorry, like because for Kathleen Kennedy, you kind of lost the fans when you basically said that Legends isn't canon. You kind of already lost fans.
Oh, and I also got to say this too, because I know I mentioned that with Kennedy's politics, right? Like, I'm not saying
if you're gonna go where I think you're gonna go with that T-shirt, don't go there.
No. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. Oh, because it's a woman with agenda. I'm not saying that. It could have easily been any male and had the same type of agendas or whatever, and we still would have been saying the same shit. It is not just because Kathleen Kennedy is a woman.
Yes, I don't think Kathleen Kennedy really cares. Same thing with Kevin Feige. I don't think Kevin Feige cares anymore. That's why I want him gone. I feel like when it comes to IPs, I feel like they should be run by people who genuinely care. Kathleen Kennedy does not care.
Like, I don't know.
Kevin Feige does not care. James Gunn, you can tell that James Gunn actually cares. I know y'all hate it. I know y'all don't like James Gunn. I know y'all hate on are going to continue to hate on the Superman movie because it's not Henry Cavill. But if there's one thing you can't deny, the dude cares. He cares. He wants to actually make DC relevant. I can't say the same thing for Kathleen Kennedy because I don't think she genuinely cares. And that's unfortunate. Because if I was in charge of Lucasfilm, obviously I think I would do a bad job because I'm not good with managing people. or managing things, but I would have fun. I would honestly do anything I can to make the fans happy. I don't think Kathleen Kennedy has done one single thing to make the fans genuinely happy, and I mean the good people, not the people who spread hate. The genuine good people who like Star Wars. I don't think she's made them happy, and it's unfortunate. I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy can. I'm sure Kathleen Kennedy can maybe strike gold, but I don't know. I just don't think she cares.
I don't know. She's saying that she is considering retirement. I don't know if that's true, but she's saying that she wants to go out with a hit. Good luck with that.
If she were to go out with a hit, then she would have retired after The Force Awakens, because that was like the only movie that people genuinely liked. And that's
like Force Awakens. Oh yeah, like I like both Force Awakens and Last Jedi, but yeah, Force Awakens especially is my favorite of the trilogy. But I'll say this, like, if Dial of Destiny bombing the box office wasn't enough to push Kennedy out, then I don't know what.
Oh, I forgot about Indiana Jones. Yeah, Lucasfilm also ruined Indiana Jones. And it's just one thing I gotta feel bad. The person that I feel bad for, it's George Lucas. I'm sorry, George Lucas. I didn't do anything because I actually love your work, but I'm sorry. We are sorry. We all owe you an apology. If you were forced to do this, you didn't deserve this. You clearly cared more than J.J. Abrams. You cared more than Kathleen Kennedy. You cared more than.
I'll say this. I think I would at least want to try to give J.J. Abrams the benefit of the doubt with The Force Awakens. Maybe.
No.
I don't know.
That man has no original bone in his body. He can't make one movie that doesn't steal from something else. He has never made a movie. He's never made a movie that doesn't involve a stupid mystery box. He's never made a movie that's genuine. It's actually original. The man got lucky 2 times. Star Trek and The Force Awakens. Super 8 was a genuine good movie. But even then, he was copying from E.T., he was copying from Stand By Me, he was copying from basically any extraterrestrial movie that deals with kids. So I can't give him that. I can't give him Mission Impossible 3 because it's already a continuous story. Yeah, it was a good movie, but I mean, it's already an existing IP. I don't remember Into Darkness. I just know that people do not like it. And what's funny to me,
it just rips off the freaking Wrath of Khan. Only instead of freaking Spock dying at the end, it's the other guy.
So you're proving my point.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like, you think that you change one thing, it's like, oh, it's a whole new original thing. Like,
so you're proving my point that J.J. Abrams just steals from other existing movies and makes it his own. He has no original bone in his body.
I won't deny that. But what I mean is that the J.J. Abrams that made Force Awakens is not the same J.J. Abrams that made Rise of Skywalker. Is the simplest way I'll put it.
I mean, hey man, the dude got lucky 2 times. Yeah. And what's funny is with Star Trek, the best movie in the series isn't even the one that he directed, and that's seen as the more faithful one to Star Trek.
Because
I'm not even a Star Trek super fan.
I won't deny that he steals from stuff. He was stealing a lot from The New Hope, but just simply making a Star Wars movie, I felt like he generally had this optimism, just like, oh, I'm gonna make a Star Wars movie, you know.
And he absolutely did. He wanted to make a movie that basically shat all over the fucking prequels. He has never given the prequels any praise because he grew up on the Plinkett reviews. He grew up on the Plinkett reviews that everyone else did in the 2000s. Yes, absolutely. He hated the prequels.
Oh,
he's outright said that he doesn't like the prequels.
Well, shit.
He actively avoided talking about the prequels in the sequel trilogy.
Now, that's another thing that we can talk about Last Jedi for a second. Like, you may hate the thing that you may hate how Luke was used in Last Jedi, but he was spitting facts in that scene. You know, the height of their power, they allowed Darth Sidious to rise and tear everything down and whatnot. Like, he was spitting facts in that movie. You just were too butthurt to admit it.
Yeah, because Ryan Johnson actually, Oh, I'm sorry, right? Dude. I mean, I was laughing. I was laughing when Zach said that. I was laughing. I
Yeah.
think it's funny.
Ready?
She wants
Ready.
to. Yeah, you really want to. Yeah. You want to go out on a hit. Well, you better. Well, at that point, then she's never going to retire.
Dude, the biggest hit you could give us is just leaving. Just leave. That'll be the biggest hit that the fan base will take. And
I don't. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
Because you know why she's saying that, right? That's basically like saying, it's basically like bait. Like, you know what? All right, we'll keep you on or whatever. Like, she's basically guilt tripping them into trying to keep her on longer. I don't know.
Yeah,
it's some shit.
And I'm not attacking Kathleen Kennedy as a person. I'm sure she's a nice person outside of Lucasfilm. I'm just talking about. I'm talking about as like the representative of Lucasfilm. She has not done a good job. Most of the films that have been released under her watch haven't been received well. They haven't.
No.
So if we're going to be going off of that, why should someone still be in charge if everything that's been made and you're in charge of Lucasfilm has not been received well? If that would have happened with anything else, if that happened to me, I would be fired. I would have been fired.
Like,
why should I be? I would deserve to be. Why should I be in the position of a multi-million-dollar film company, and everything that's been produced under me has sucked?
Like, here's the realistic way I'll put it, right? Like, outside of the fact that the criticism that Last Jedi and Force Awakens received because they were financial hits, realistically, she should have been fired after fucking Solo because that bombed.
Oh yeah, I forgot Solo did bomb. Solo did bomb. I forgot about that.
Yeah, like realistically, she should have been bombed. She should have been fired just for that.
Yeah, right. I forgot that Solo bombed.
Yeah, it's a shame because it's not the best one it's not one of the best Star Wars movies.
It's fun. It's a fun Star Wars movie. It's what that's what Star Wars should be. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah, like it's just, if anything, I'll even say this. I think it succeeded more at feeling like in the right ways, feeling more like a throwback to classic Star Wars than Force Awakens did.
So yeah. I mean, I feel like it's an hour. We've been talking about this for basically an hour. I've said basically on. I mean, I thought I was gonna end up yelling at the top of my lungs. I mean, I did a couple of times, but
yeah. The last thing we'll say is that if Simon Kinberg does end up directing these, even though I don't hate Dark Phoenix as much as a lot of people, I will still be really worried if he ends up being the director for them.
I think that might be the dumbest, that's the dumbest idea. Like, it's bad enough that he wrote some of the worst movies in comic book history, but you're asking him to come on for Star Wars. Has he even watched Star Wars?
I guess we'll have to find out.
Like, oh God. At least it's not Brett Ratner. Jesus.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't think that's even worse.
Maybe I might be wrong, but I don't think that dude has directed a thing since. Hey, Big Jack Films, what's up? Dude.
No, Simon Kinberg. I don't understand.
He is a YouTuber you got to check out, man. He's really awesome, dude. Like, I love his stuff, but that's awesome. But yeah, dude, like, yeah, I get. We'll have to find out if he's a Star Wars fan or not. We'll see.
Oh yeah, and I forgot. Aren't we supposed to be getting a Rey movie in the meantime?
Oh yeah, the new Jedi Order. Like, I will watch that. It kind of ties back to what I've been saying earlier. about Daisy Ridley, because I don't think that she was agenda driven or anything. But I would watch the Ray movie just because I like Daisy Ridley. If it gets made, they're looking for a new writer because they dumped their last writer. So yeah.
I mean, I honestly, I when I first heard that I was going to be made, I'm just like, really? Like, we're still going to be tied down to the Skywalker saga? Like, can we just have like new characters set in like in the long future? It just feels like Anakin sacrificed, and by extension, Rey defeating Palpatine just doesn't matter anymore. Like, are we just always going to keep getting evil in the galaxy? I'm not saying that's not existent. Obviously, there's going to be people who will try to, there's always going to be someone who tries to, finish what the other started. Okay. I'm not saying that, but it just feels like, it's like, if we are getting a new trilogy, it's just like, why? It's like an ongoing cycle. Like, why? Why? At least the prequels isn't like, it's telling a story on how a hero became the most evil dictator in the galaxy. So you can't even say that the prequels are like the original trilogy. It's telling a story that we didn't. It's giving us context as to how these characters ended up becoming the iconic characters we saw. But the sequel trilogy is just the original trilogy.
Yeah, like, oh, and yeah, Big Jack Films. He is doing. He's been doing his Star Wars reviews for years, and he's doing the prequels next. I'm telling you, dude, check out his stuff. It's awesome. Like, we're flattered that you checked out our channel, man. But yeah, like,
I'm tired. I haven't I have not eaten in like 7 hours, so I'm gonna get something to go. I appreciate anyone who decided to come in and see me in pain, in excruciating pain. I'm glad that I was joined by Zach and John. At least they gave me some life. And again, I know I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but again, anybody, and I'm gonna look at the camera when I say this, anybody in Star Wars, in the Star Wars fan base, anybody who spreads hate, racism, sexism, any type of hate, y'all can leave this fan base. We don't want you. We don't respect people who do that. If you want to hate something, then that's fine. But to do it in the most disgusting way possible makes me sick. And I don't respect people who do that. So
like,
please,
dude, the Moses
for the
Ingram
love of
stuff
God,
was the breaking point for me because I was just sick and tired of people doing this time and time again to these people.
We as people have seen this story way too many times to keep making the same mistake. And I have to say something about it. So please,
yeah, dude,
if you have, leave our fan base, because we don't want you and we don't claim you. That's all I have to say.
Yeah,
but
yeah, dude. And I think it's proper to end off saying that to the good people in the Star Wars fan base, despite the fact that Star Wars is in the state that it's in, remember, the Force will be with you always.
Yeah, and to the people who genuinely like Star Wars and are genuine fans and aren't bad people, we are fucked. So yeah.
I mean, I'll give this a shot if it actually.
I have no hope. I have no hope. We thought Dave Filoni was the chosen one, but he's not the chosen one. He ended up being basically the very thing that he swore to destroy. So yeah, this has been the Cool Kids review. Goodbye, guys, and I'm gonna go take a nap now.
All right. Once again, we have brought light into the world. Welcome, America.